Okay, welcome to the PPRC podcast. My
Yeah,
name is Rero, and with me are Chewy and Deadset as co-hosts.
yeah,
Welcome on the podcast, Deadset. You are now
yeah.
upgraded to a co-host.
What?
I mean, Green's been busy, so and you've been busy as well, Deadset. Or I don't know.
Yeah,
How have you been?
I'm okay.
You said you went to the ER. How was that
Yeah,
experience? Were you
it was a fun one. Yeah,
were you in pain?
yeah,
Okay, that sucks.
kidney stones.
What was the process like?
Well, let me see. Yeah, it was like a wavy type of pain across my midsection, left flank. Then we went into the ER. Yeah, they ran a battery of tests on me, like the CT scan, sonogram. Yeah,
Got it.
blood test and urinalysis. Yeah,
So were you in the
the whole
hospital?
shebang. Yeah, yeah,
How long were you
for
in the
7 hours.
hospital? Only 7 hours?
7 hours. Yeah. Burned around $400. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've heard. So does that mean
No more GPU.
does that mean you are no, you're not in the hospital anymore, so after they're
Yeah.
done, you just that was it.
Yeah. Docs gave me some tablets, pills to pop. Yeah.
Okay, so you have some
And of course,
treatment.
yeah, I need to switch to a lot of water instead of just Coke.
Ah, the no sugar diet.
Like, yeah. Uh, just plain water, 2 liters at least a day, or even more. Yeah.
2 liters. Jeez, that's a
Yeah.
lot. No tea,
Yeah. No, no, just water.
just water.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll get better and I don't know. I guess when you reach that age, uh, things start
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
My grandpa, he has a deaf ear, and then his other ear started going deaf as well.
Yeah.
So they had to buy a ear amplifier. My parents had to buy an
Yeah.
ear amplifier, and he's like 80, over 80, so
Yeah. And I'm halfway there.
halfway there, going for 100.
Yeah. No, yeah, the ear thing. I mean, I got mild hearing loss on my left ear. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So
So
self-inflicted wound. Yeah.
self-inflicted? What's the story behind
Yeah.
that?
Cotton buds.
Oh, yes,
I love to, yeah.
to clean the
So
ear.
that is not actually recommended by the doctors. Yeah.
Yes. I used to do the same thing, but I've been careful. I
Yeah.
actually use a Japanese ear pick to, well, plastic one, clean my ear and be careful with
I
that.
got a wooden one. Yeah. But still, the best way is to go to the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good to have a second opinion
How's
on
Chewy? Yeah,
Chu.
you wanna upgrade Chewy?
Well, Chu said he doesn't want to pay any money, but we're going to talk about.
Real keeps insisting I should upgrade, but I personally don't feel any urge or need to
Oh,
upgrade.
okay.
So
And I
my
think like
friend,
we were just talking about like the Forever Winter and how the specs are very demanding.
Yeah,
But like I personally don't think it's worth the money to buy like upgrade a PC just to play one game. I would never do that. I would
yeah,
I
only do
did
it
that for Sandstorm.
like
so
I would upgrade if it's becoming evident that my PC is no longer capable of playing the game
Yeah,
that I want to play. But so far, that has not been the case.
yeah, you do make a good point. It is not worth upgrading unless you have a specific target in mind, and that will support a lot many games. I found it really funny how my college friend, he actually has the same specs as Chu, the Ryzen 2700X and the GTX 1660, I think it was Ti. Um,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
so I was talking with him earlier because he was thinking about just buying a system outright and giving his current computer to his mother because his mother's laptop is dying.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to was because he was interested in the Monster Hunter franchise. And so when he played Monster
Oh
Hunter
yeah.
World, it was barely kicking because of the graphic requirements. So with the sequel coming out soon, he was like, "Yes, this is not gonna run it." So he was shopping around earlier, like RTX 4060, stuff like that. Probably do a pre-built because he has the money for that if he wants to. And
I
he's
would like to customize my parts, but I would not like to build it myself.
he also mentioned that the importance on CPU because with more games nowadays, having a good CPU is just as important as having a good GPU, right? That's it.
Yeah.
So say Chu and my friend were going to go for the next best CPU from the 2700X. What would that even be? Say like $100 budget. 3600? 3700X?
I'm on a 3600. Yeah.
That's only 6 core though.
Yeah. I think the 5600 is quite cheap already. You should look that up.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
have.
if I were to upgrade, I would just leap a little bit more than just one generation.
It would not make sense for him to go back to 6 core instead of 8 core, you know? That's it.
Yeah.
So
5700 or something
5700
like.
X3D,
Yeah.
that would probably be the last AM4 CPU
Yeah.
for $150 on AliExpress. If you even want to buy from AliExpress,
Uh, I'll pass on that.
then it's probably like 200 US dollars, 190 US dollars actually on Amazon.
Don't you guys
Because
have a micro center or something?
I do, but I don't think Chu does.
No, we don't. And our options are, I mean, we have options, but from a smaller selection of retailers. And usually, like we pay prices on par with US dollar, so it's per by dollar value, it's more for us.
So I'd say the
Yeah.
5700 X3D is probably the best value Chu can get for his money
Yeah.
because it's the last CPU. But if Chu's not going to upgrade it by himself, then he's probably going to pay someone to build it or buy a pre-built, right?
I would like to customize it, but I guess there's nothing wrong with pre-built, but then some of the like I guess some of the parts don't really fit what I want.
Don't you got a PC guy buddy nearby who can help you?
Uh, I I do have a friend, but I feel like I don't want to bug him because I only ever talk to him for PC related stuff.
Maybe he would be happy to build it for you for a small fee. Because I've seen the one of the latest
Oh yeah, yeah, he would.
Linus Tech
It's
Tip
just that like
videos.
he's he's becoming a busy man nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, we there are like individuals out there who would be willing to
Especially on
build
Facebook
or
Marketplace.
yeah.
There was a Linus Tech Tip video where he actually did that over Facebook Marketplace, and he actually found a gold sample where one guy was like, "I am so free. I have a good job, but I have so much time. I could just do it for free." So he did it for free for
Yeah.
Linus Tech Tips, and I was like, "Damn." Other than that, there's like a student who was trying to
Honestly,
do what?
like a build by like an individual would nowadays cost around I want to say $75 up to
Go ahead.
150 depending on where you're going, who you're
Right.
talking to. But that's the value of someone building a computer.
And maybe even testing, like if you ask them to run a benchmark.
Yeah.
I don't think there would be any need to benchmark at that point. It's just validating that the system boots, and
Stress
that's pretty much it.
testing. I mean, I had some lemons.
Yeah.
My RX 470 was a lemon until I repasted it because the factory repaste was kind of crap.
Yeah.
Well, it's either you're testing it or they're testing it. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I haven't actually explored the Facebook Marketplace, but I do know there's this Australian channel who does the same kind of thing where he builds PCs. So he's built
Oh yeah.
the brand. I think it was like Tech City.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen this channel.
yeah. He's built a brand, so and customers trust him to say if he built the PC using a broken pin CPU and just put a pin in the motherboard, he was like, "Yeah, if it doesn't work within a year or two, I'll just replace the CPU for you because I mean he has his reputation on this channel, so
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything like that by Chew because you're not in Australia.
Mhm.
But for me, the merit for doing it myself is, I guess, I like to do to tinker with it, and to be honest, it's pretty easy for me. Just buy the 5700
Yeah.
XT3 and just drop it in
Yeah.
because I know how my system is built. But that's just me because I'm very technical.
Yeah, I'm not good with like hands-on stuff.
Well, you put in your solid state drives, your M.2.
I actually got my no, because like what happened was we had to do a little bit of rewiring, um, because they were all like jammed into like behind the panel or some stuff like that, and we also had to fit in a replace the fans. So yeah, there was
Oh,
some rewiring needed.
so your friend helped you on that, or did it for
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, in that case, yeah.
The only thing I could do by myself was just add in those RAM sticks, which are like you just plug it in.
Plug and play,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
All right, I see where you're
But
coming from.
but once wires are involved, I'm like, okay, I can't deal with this.
Well, with a CPU replacement, let's see. If he were to do a dead set, you think the CPU would stick to the cooler and he will like rip it out by accident?
Oh yeah. You gotta be careful taking off a cooler.
Yeah, there's been cases where people just pull the cooler off with the CPU because they didn't bother
Yeah.
heat it and twist it. That's one error I could imagine, and then his old 2700X would be like
Yeah.
debatable, debatable at that point. I mean, with M.2 SSDs, it's like not really any wiring per se.
Oh, but I have
Yeah.
externals. I have like, well, not external, but like add-ons that are not M.2.
Oh,
No,
okay.
just needed drives. Yeah,
I mean, all it
because
really is, yeah,
those are still like significantly cheaper.
right, because the form factor is bigger.
Yeah,
Well, all it really is power and the data, just two different cables.
and knowing where to plug them into.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I read the manual or I can see on the motherboard.
Yeah. It's in the manual.
But if she doesn't want to do that or is not really comfortable, then yeah, it makes sense
Yeah,
for him to
don't want to fry something.
hire it out. Well, yeah, there have been cases where you just people force their force their way into the connectors and it breaks.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Plus, plus it's like I see it as a skill that I would only use like once every few years, so I don't feel the incentive to really learn it just which is unlike, for example, like driving, right? We drive every day. That's why we learn it. But to learn a skill that we rarely use, mm, might not be worth my time and effort.
Well, it's not like tinkering is part of just PC building. You can apply that to really almost any consumer product, laptops, your car,
Yeah.
uh, any other kind of things. I don't know. It depends on what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. So I would say if you're looking to upgrade and you buy your parts, you just send your computer or drop it off someone local and they just rebuild it for you for a fee and hope they don't steal your data.
Yeah, that's an issue. Yeah.
Would you trust Best Buy Geek Squad?
No.
Do you have one that's at a Geek Squad near you?
Oh, we got something over here. Yeah, the retail shops have that. But I still do everything myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been building since I was a teenager. So yeah.
Man, if only I was like near Chew, I'd probably do for him.
Yeah.
But I can't. So, and it's not like it's gonna ship his computer over to me.
Yeah.
Let's talk. I guess. Well, his CPU's been kind of decided unless he goes for AM5, which I don't know, is even cutting edge worth it at this point? AM5 AMD CPUs.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth a jump?
Well, if I had the money, I'll go for the 7000 series right now. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess if money's not a problem, then yeah, just spend on cutting edge tech.
I would hold on the 9000 series for now.
Really?
Yeah, potentially some issues. Yeah.
Right, because they're also being the beta tester when you buy new hardware,
Yeah.
which is like
Guinea pigs, basically.
Intel 14th gen and 13th gen.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it, Chew? Where the Intel 13th and 14th gen,
No. What about it?
uh, their CPUs are killing themselves
No.
because of a defect that they refuse to acknowledge. So the company stock took a plummet. My stock plummeted as well. They try to
Bought
patch it with the
Intel?
what?
You bought Intel?
Apparently I had Intel a long time ago. It just sat there.
Oh.
They try to fix it with a microcode update, so reduce the voltages and but I don't know. People spend like 100. How much do they spend? That's it, like $700 US dollars, thousand US
Yeah.
dollars,
Yeah.
and then their CPU just went kaput or burned a hole. I don't know. So one of my recommendations is to go with older hardware, such as AMD's AM4 platform,
Yeah.
and the reason why is because AM4 has so many CPUs that keeps on coming, and platform cannot seem to die off, which is great because Intel is like every 2 years here's a new platform.
Yeah.
So hopefully AM5 is worth the jump, but it's still too early for them to. I mean, it's only like two two generations on AM5.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'd probably say like third generation is when there'd be like a good leap because at least for AM4, uh, because like that's like you're on the third generation of the AM4.
Yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
significant leap. But with Chew, you're on the second generation, so it's not as much as a performance gain, you know?
Mhm.
And then mine is on the fifth generation, the 5000 series. So that's like the peak of the
Oh,
architecture. What do you think that's at?
yeah.
57X X3D, the end of the line. But AMD's still milking the market, so I throw my money at them.
Yeah, if money's tight, I'll go for that, yeah. Otherwise, I'll build a new one.
The new platform, AM5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But right now, your GPU is aging.
Yeah,
What do you have again?
RX 580, yeah,
That was pretty good back in the day. That
yeah.
was before the RDNA 1 architecture for the GPU.
Still usable, yeah. I could play Helldivers with 40 to 50 frames.
40 50 frames is probably pretty.
Yeah, it's okay, yeah. I could manage. I started Sandstorm with like 20 frames. That's the reason why I upgraded.
To the 580. Well,
Yeah,
Sandstorm is an older game,
yeah.
and I bought Horizon.
I
Yeah,
I built an entire new rig because of Sandstorm. Slowly, yeah. Initially, it was the hard drives. I went to an SSD.
that's a good one.
Yeah, and then the GPU died. This one switched the RX 580. Yeah, and then I built the AMD. Yeah,
Did you buy
uh,
used or you buy new?
the GPU is used. Remember at that time when the pandemic was just starting, where the
Oh,
GPUs have crazy prices?
that's when you upgraded? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I kept on my RX 470 for like four, five, is that 8 years now almost?
yeah. I was lucky to buy the GPU for around $75 when it shot to $300 a few months after.
Oh yes, now I remember. You bought it from like a bin, I think.
Uh,
Or your friend? I don't know.
no, it's a shop in our computer area where there are surplus from Korea. It's nice being a dump site. We're a dump site, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could go dumpster diving. It'd be fun to like I've
Yeah,
seen some YouTube channels where they just pull out these barely broken phones, they fix them and they could just get like $200 for that. I'm like,
yeah,
damn. And they get good hardware.
yeah,
So you bought your 580 and it's been like 4 years now, right?
yeah. Still good.
Still good.
Of course, I need to maintain it for a while bit, yeah.
You got the 8 GB version?
No, just a 4 gigabyte. And it was a mining GPU too. So probably came from a mining farm.
Shoot, do you think like 4 GB of VRAM is enough in 2024?
Not
Never mind.
really.
He's muted. Yeah.
I just step away from it.
So Dedsetz has a 4 GB VRAM of GP on his GPU.
That is
But since I'm on 1080p playing, so I'll manage for now.
that is very inadequate.
Yeah,
Technically 6 GB is starting to be minimum spec as well. But I mean, it really only depends if you're pushing the textures a lot.
yeah,
If you turn it down to like Deep Rock Galactic texture level, then you don't really need a lot. Heck, even Forza Horizon 4, I bought. The recommended was my RX 470 back in the day, and that was like
yeah,
4 GB of VRAM. So I'd say for 1080p, 8 GB is good. Anything else with high resolutions, 1440p, 4K, you need the higher
yeah.
end. unless you're using VRM for like AI image generation, like I was trying to do, machine
Yeah.
learning. So let's see if is your GPU better than choose that's at the RX 580 versus the 1660 Ti?
Hmm. I think they're almost the same. Obviously, some areas NVIDIA will be better.
Definitely in power efficiency. So by like because AMD is still more power hungry than NVIDIA. NVIDIA is so good at
And
power efficiency.
yeah, some softwares are actually
More
more
optimized.
optimized for CUDA. Yeah.
I'd say it's more for like video editing though. Well, it could depend on the video game too.
Yeah, it depends on the software, what the developers did. Yeah.
All right, 1660 Ti. That's what you have, right, Drew?
Yep, six
Versus
gigabyte.
6 GB versus RX 580 4 GB. I'm surprised there's a 4 GB version of the 580, but
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty rare. Oh, there's a Reddit post. Excellent.
Yeah, I was lucky to have the full stack chip because some people are getting the cut down version with less stream processors. Yeah.
Stream processors.
Yeah, I think mine is 2300.
Oof, this build a PC right is like the extra RAM memory will almost do nothing in 1080p. RX 580, RX 580 will be fine on any game in 1080p Ultra, but the
Yeah.
1660 is capable of AAA games in 1440p. What?
Yeah, probably because more VRAM. Yeah.
1660 Ti? Actually, I don't know how that is. The only card I had similar was like the 2060 at one point, but that was my friend's. But that was before the 20 series, right?
Yeah. Isn't the 2060 a lot better than the 1660?
Yeah, it's the next generation.
It has the yeah RT cores, ray tracing cores.
Right, because the predecessor was a 10 series, that's like the 1080 Ti. Successor was a 20 series. Got it, got it.
Yeah.
So the 580 was like competing with this generation, so
Yeah.
I guess choose build was choose GPU is slightly better.
Yeah. Slightly better. Yeah.
If you had the 8 GB version, I think it's also pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh. Honestly, Chu, if you actually look at your VRAM usage, do you actually and I don't know how you would do that unless you get some software, but I don't think
Yeah.
you crack your graphics settings up for textures.
How do
Yeah.
I
Depends on the game and yeah.
how do I check my VRAM?
It depends when you run the game. So at least for AMD, there's a built-in uh, stat monitor you can look at to see how much VM you're using, and it honestly depends on the game. So with Arma, it could use the entire thing. With Deep Rock, it could use like 2 GB at most because it's Deep Rock Galactic. Sandstorm depends on your settings. Probably need to like, yeah, it's probably not worth it for you because you probably need to download a third-party app to find out.
Yeah. According to my metrics, I'm using 3600 out of 4000. Yeah.
You're using 3 GB of 4 right now?
Yeah.
Doing what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Mm.
Anyway, the reason why you do not want to overcap your VRAM usage is because it starts caching textures from your disk, your solid state drive or your hard drive. It's worse if it's your hard drive because it's slower.
Yeah,
What else is there to add that's why don't we want to over cap the VRAM?
yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, might use your drive for yeah virtual RAM. Yeah, which is not good.
So it would slow the stutter.
Probably depends on the app. You might stutter to hell. Yeah. By the way, I'm in the middle of Sandstorm 2 right now.
Oh my god, no wonder why. Still playing, I see.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you woke up early this morning.
yeah, yeah. I've been keeping weird time lately.
Waking up early or late?
The usual late. Yeah.
Okay, next topic. Team green or team red for GPUs? I'm personally a team red fan because that's all I really used. But unless I had a need for NVIDIA, I'll probably stick with AMD or Intel at
I'm
this
kind
point.
of pissed at Nvidia. So expensive. So I'm keep on doing an AMD for now
What about you, Chu? You're kind of half
until I
AMD.
win the lottery.
Uh, it really depends on the moment in time
Yeah,
of what is like a comparison between the performance and the value. So I would say I'm impartial.
You as a consumer who's not really into PC hardware, when you hear like 3070 versus AMD RX 6700, does that mean anything to you? Or like a
No,
what about like a 3050 versus a 4060? What about that?
that means nothing to me.
Do you know what sounds better?
The higher the number,
The higher.
usually.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not wrong. The Nvidia's marketing is pretty straightforward in terms of tiers. If you look
I
at
know AMD has some free digit numbers,
AMD,
or maybe they used to. Yeah.
yeah, so Dedsetz is a 500 series GPU. That was like a
yeah,
three digit. And then once they moved on to the new architecture, RDNA 1 was 5700
yeah. 57 700 XT. Yeah,
XT. That would probably be a good upgrade for you. $100 GPU card. And then just increasing. I got the 6000 series, and now they're on the almost 8000 series now.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Coming soon. Yeah,
in one way, AMD is bigger number than Nvidia. What do you think about like Nvidia RTX 4090 Ti Super? Does that mean anything to you versus AMD AMD 7900 XTX? Because I don't know what the X's mean.
Some reason the Nvidia one sounds more compelling.
Oh God. And is it pronounced TI or Thai?
TI.
TI.
What?
I would say TI.
TI.
Yeah,
Okay. Glad I had your input on that one. Because there was one moment in the NVIDIA presentation where they said Thai. I'm like, what? Instead of TI. Well, I suppose there's no really upgrading Choose Computer, at least GPU wise. Um, I'd say CPU wise, you probably get better 1% lows and stability and responsiveness with the 5700X 3D. But with GPU, it's only for like frame rate and textures, right? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if he's already capping at 60 FPS because of his old monitor, and he's not intending to upgrade anytime soon for that, then yeah, I don't really see a need for him to get a new graphics card.
Yeah, like I'll think about it in maybe like 2 or 3 years, and then at that point I'll probably just get a completely new system.
Yeah.
I'll have to. I'm already using like I think it's almost like a 10-year-old power supply. So
Oh
like
yeah.
it's yeah, it's due for an upgrade soon,
Probably
replacement.
time to yeah.
Well, as long as a good power supply, 10 years is pretty good time.
Yeah, it's within the
Yeah.
expectations. It's an 80. I think it's an 80 bronze or something like that. I
That's
wish
like
I
it,
would just gone gold for the better power efficiency.
the 90%.
Yeah, knowing how much I spend the time on the computer.
I mean, okay, say in 2, 3 years you do set aside a budget for a new computer. How much would that be? Same price as what you bought?
If we're just talking about everything within the tower, I would say around 1,500 Canadian.
Which is equivalent to quick
I
conversion.
would say equivalent to around 1,000 Canadian 5 years ago.
So
Hmm.
1,500 Canadian to is equivalent to 1,100 US dollar. That's just for the tower, right?
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
within the tower.
Yikes! I forgot what conversion kind of sucks for you. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You could probably get a decent one depending how you build it. Hell,
Yeah,
if you
because
want,
I'll still be using. I think I'll still be using my existing solid state drives, the SATA ones, just for storage purposes, and then like everything else will probably just be brand new. Like I'll just get a new motherboard and then a new CPU that's probably like AM5 at that point. That's somewhat matured by then.
yeah, you will not be
And
wrong on that
then
part.
like I'll get higher speed for the RAM because right now I'm at 200 and 2,977 or something like that.
Well, AM5 uses DDR5 RAM, and those start at like 5,500 megatransfers per second.
Yeah, so right now I'm DDR4. So I'll get DDR5 next time and then
Damn.
new power supply. Basically pretty much new everything at the point. Just
Yeah.
maybe new.
Would you even keep the case, or you just want to go for a new case as well?
There's a case that's better at filtering out dust, then I'll get it. Other
Oh,
than that, like the one I have right now, it's pretty spacious. Like I would rather go with a bigger case than a smaller one because it's just more flexible.
Yeah.
but what about? Well, for me, I want the smaller case, but and in a way, it only makes sense if you're gonna tinker around with it for spacing. If you're having someone else to build it for you, then yeah, who cares? Why should you care what the case is like? Unless it's like
Mm.
a heat
There's
issue.
also the consideration for the airflow.
Smaller cases can have better airflow. In fact, I'd say if you look at the miniature ATX size cases and motherboards, MATX, that's the term. Those are actually in great value. That's what I got. Even though my case is like ITX, which is the smallest one, MATX because the motherboard is slightly smaller than ATX boards is a good
Yeah.
value because you still get the expansion ports and the slot and the
The issue is like the the CPU fan might be too big, which can be problematic.
well, I don't know what your CPU fan looks like, and if it's like a tower where it's like heat sinks, heat pipes are bent up to a heatsink and blow straight out to the back, then that's pretty standard.
Right now, my CPU tower is right up next to my sorry, CPU fan is right up next to one of my RAM sticks.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, that's an issue sometimes.
yeah,
That's
that,
why some of these larger coolers have adjustable fans. You could adjust it a bit, yeah.
or you get
So it will, yeah,
the lower
yeah,
profile
lower
RAM.
profile RAM, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can say, fuck it, and just go for the liquid all-in-one cooler.
That is what I did because I didn't realize that at that time my Ryzen 5 3600 is a bit toasty. So immediately I had to run back out and buy the AIO.
Oh, geez, you bought new?
Yeah, I bought a new crappy brand ID cooling, but ultra cheap at $55.
I
It
would,
lasted like 1 year
oh, 1 year.
before wrapping out. Yeah,
Yeah, I would never buy liquid cooling. I just don't believe in it compared to air cooling. But there are some applications where if you want it to be less of a noise hassle, because obviously if your computer's right next to you, you hear the fans ramp up every time you launch a game.
and but yeah, after it crapped out, I learned how to fix it myself thanks to Gamers Nexus,
Oh, that's
Tech
good.
Jesus Steve.
Tech Jesus.
Yeah,
He's a great
I opened it.
journalist.
I opened up the heat plate, and there's the gunk and the
You got a toothbrush?
yeah, brush it off, put in the new liquid, and yeah, I'm still good ever since.
So that's the thing, too, with the AM4 platform and the AM5 platform, AMD made it so that certain heat sinks are compatible with
Yeah,
each other.
yeah,
So you may not even need to buy a new heatsink if it's
yeah,
compatible.
yeah,
I'm not sure if I have the. Is it a heatsink that I have, or I'm sure I've had a heatsink, but I'm not sure if it was. It came with it. Came with the CPU itself.
Does it have like metal fins?
Yes.
It's a air heatsink,
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
if it,
suppose it came with the CPU itself. It's just a stock.
oh, is it? It's a stock cooler.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like a round metal heatsink with a plastic fan top.
yeah,
No.
Let me see, 2700 Ryzen 2700 stock cooler. Because I used the stock cooler and I was like, this sucks, but it works.
yeah,
Copy image link address. Oh my god, I can't put that in there.
yeah. I was not happy with my stock cooler. I immediately went to 80 degrees
Yep,
while not even doing anything. Yeah,
they're just not meant for.
yeah.
That sounds like a bigger problem. That's a. Here, check
Reason
out.
why I bought the AIO. Yeah,
Geez, let me know which one that you have. I'm just curious.
Wraith Prism.
You have the Wraith Prism. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It starts from
I
the
don't care for the RGB, to be honest.
best to the weakest. So
yeah,
I think I had the Stealth or the Spire. I came with my 5600, but I don't use it,
yeah.
so it's like a waste.
Same. I used mine for a week,
All right,
just
cheers.
1 week. Yeah,
So the reason why these are kind of decent is just it's just basically a chunk of aluminum, or in this case, they have these copper pipes, and the way it works is it blows down on the motherboard. So so your hot air gets blown down through the components, and there's some ventilation.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's piped up where it pushes air perpendicular to your motherboard towards the back of the case.
Yeah.
So that'll give you better cooling, and it'll be taller. But I don't know. You can spend money on coolers, and to a certain point, they're pretty good value. I bought Hyper 212 Evo, which was like godsend until I ruined it in the belt sander. Then I got my current one for like $16 off Amazon used.
Nice.
16 US dollars. Normally they go for like 25 or 40,
Yeah.
and the best ones can go up to $100. Then they're like
Yeah.
really huge.
Noctua.
Noctua. So if I were to geek out on a air cooler, I go with like a um, Noctua brand. Do you know what they look like? Chu?
No.
Noctua cooler. Noctua is not really an Asian or US brand. They're like European.
It's a European. Yeah.
Yeah, they make good coolers and they make especially good fans, but the fans are like ugly yellow color.
But it's yeah, their custom color, their signature color,
Yeah,
which is pretty nice.
it's a very signature look.
Yeah.
Take a Windows snip. Nope, can't do that. All right, what do you think of this Chew? These Noctua heatsinks. They're like the premium of the industry. Ugly color, but the fans are like top end, and the heatsink
Yeah.
will make your CPU as cool as your fridge. No, not really, but they'll try to drop the temps down to like 40s and
That looks
60s.
that looks obnoxious.
Wait, what?
It looks obnoxious.
But they're expensive.
Well, the DH15, the one on the top left, is like the one
Yeah.
that's 100. It's like they have two fans in it, and it's a premium model. Normally there's one fan and a tower. So those are the tower coolers.
Yeah.
And to be fair, tower coolers are pretty popular. So if you think it's obnoxious, then the rest of the industry looks obnoxious to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like,
Yeah, like I chose the CPU that had the like a decent stock cooler, so I don't have to deal with buying an aftermarket. So yeah,
Yeah.
just keep things simple.
yeah, but the stock cooler is stock. Kind of sucks. Hell, even okay, so it was like 15 years ago, the Hyper 212 Evo launched, and it was like a $25 fan cooler, four copper heat pipes, and basically it was so simple and cheap that it was used almost everywhere because it was like it had a very good reputation. And 15 years later, they're still selling the damn thing.
Yeah. It's a Hall of Famer. Guaranteed.
I think Alexi has used to have one.
I'm happy with what I have.
Well, the thing was, at the time, for $25, it beat the Intel stock cooler by a mile. That's why,
Yeah.
obviously, with your cooler, it's come a long way where stock coolers are decent enough. But back then, they were not. It was just aluminum heatsink. So for your next build, you just stick with the stock cooler or somewhat stock. I don't know. Are AM5 stock coolers even good?
I have no feedback on that. I'm pretty sure it's the same with the thing that I experienced with my 3600.
Yeah, because it's the same mounting hardware, it's probably the same cooler. So Chu doesn't even need to upgrade his cooler.
Yeah.
That's what I've been telling you. I don't need to upgrade anything yet. At least not for the next year or so.
The only problem I have with your
Like I
cooler
feel like yeah, go ahead.
is that if the fan dies, then what? You gotta take the fan off and like,
Okay, well if the fan dies then yeah, I'll have to replace it, right?
I don't even know if you can replace the fan on. that one. Compared to a tower cooler, it's just you buy the right fan that's easy swap, you know?
Hmm. Well, let's hope it
Yeah,
dies.
I did look that up, the Prism, before I eventually ran out to grab the AIO.
Oh, you did? What'd you think of it?
It's quite expensive over here. So my only choice was to buy a second-hand one. But I don't see any, so I ran out and grabbed the AIO instead.
Let's see. There's this forum post here where uh their fan died, so they said you would need to buy the entire heatsink, not just the fan, to replace it because
Yeah,
you cannot replace the fan. Which is fans do die over time. They're moving parts, unfortunately. So that's one of the pros of buying an aftermarket cooler because it's just two parts, the actual heatsink, and then a fan you can always replace. Or add
I
RGB.
see.
RGB, Jew.
woohoo, RGB.
I bought
I don't
RG
like RGB.
I bought RGB and then I turned it off.
Same.
I have an RGB keyboard, and the first thing I did was turn it off.
What do you do at night then?
While I'm looking at my monitor, not my keyboard.
Oh well,
Same.
I guess. Okay, so that's the cooler done. I guess get an MATX size AM5 motherboard and
I
CPU.
want full ATX.
Why do you want full ATX? Do you even have all the cards?
Uh, just keep things less
Yeah,
flexible.
I'll go full ATX myself.
You go full
Big boy
ATX?
motherboard, yeah. Because I want my rig large.
I mean,
If I have the cash, I will grab a Corsair 7000 case. Look that up.
must be a big case.
Yeah, because
7000D?
I have several. Yeah. I have
7000D
several drives.
AF. Oh, okay, makes sense. If you have like hard drives, those are like
Yeah,
3.5-inch
yeah.
diameter. Honestly, I don't even think I need hard drives anymore. If you get the 2 terabyte solid state drives or 4 terabytes, those are pretty good.
Yeah,
I just don't see the appeal of large cases anymore because aside from the airflow and I guess ease of building, it's just a big box to me that I can't shrink. And you pay the
I
premium
like
for
this face.
full ATX. What?
Yeah, I like this face. Yeah.
Oh, the case. I don't understand you. Tell me why you want full ATX, even though you don't use all the slots and the
Uh,
expansion.
well, right now, hold on, let me take a look. I believe I have used all the slots. Why not?
You can't use all the PCI slots. You only have one graphics card.
But
Maybe Chew, we want to put in a raid.
I used up all my what is it?
Like M.2 slots for SSD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I used up all of that, and then I used up all the slots for the RAM.
I mean, they're usually just four slots for
yeah.
RAM, and then two slots. How many slots for your solid state drive?
I
Usually two.
my my tower has 3 bays, and I'm using all 3 bays,
Okay,
and I'm also using all 3 connections, I believe.
mine has two. Well, that's because I went with MATX. All right, well, if you if you need, it, I guess, sure.
Yeah, like I feel like it's better to just buy, like, spend a few more dollars, just buy the full one, and just keep it flexible for like the future. Because like if in the future you want to add something else, and then it turns out that you don't have enough slots for it or whatever. And it's like, okay,
Yeah, I got
you know,
5 hard drives in here.
Well,
yeah,
I guess you could always buy the PCIe cards where you can put like more
Yeah,
M.2 slots.
yeah,
So it would sit in the same spot as a graphics card slot, just further down, and you get
yeah,
another sister
I
card.
mean, if you're gonna buy that, might as well just buy the full ATX at that point.
I guess.
The cost difference is not even that much.
I thought there's a significant difference between
Not really.
at least
depends on the features. Yeah,
$30.
some motherboards have other stuff in there, like yeah, higher gigabit ports for the networking, 2.5 or 5 or 10. Yeah,
I don't think Chew will ever have 2.5
the
gigabit.
high end ones. Yeah,
But the thing is, like, you don't have to use your computer to the fullest potential.
yeah,
Because if that's the case, that means you're at a bottleneck already at some point.
yeah.
Fair enough. My first motherboard was actually M-ATX, and then I switched over to the Z170 ATX board because I wanted the overclocking.
Yeah, I don't overclock either,
Overclocking
even
is
though I could.
just it's not worth it for you and me in my opinion, just because too much of a hassle.
Yeah,
There's a relatively simple software interface that I can overclock with, but I just don't want to put additional strain on my parts for no reason that I
But
don't really need
Chew,
to.
nowadays the trend is undervolting, where
yeah,
you get like a 2% drop in performance, but you get a significant drop in power consumption, which is what I've been doing for my stuff because power is not cheap here. Well, at least not in Iowa it's cheap, but in New York City it's not.
Power is relatively cheap here in British Columbia.
Still, if you had
Uh,
the option, you would pay to like save a little bit money.
if I want to save money, I would just buy a higher efficiency power supply.
Well, undervolting has also has other benefits, right? So it keeps
yeah. Longer
your
lasting stuff. Yeah,
it keeps
Hmm.
your components cooler. Your fan doesn't run at full speed compared to undervolted, and I guess in theory it keeps your components longer life.
yeah,
So the Australian guy, Tech Yes City YouTuber, he undervolts all his stuff because apparently electricity is expensive in Australia. So and that's how he sells his computers towards his viewers. So they know they're getting the best energy to performance deal. At that point, you might as well buy Nvidia for a graphics card, pay the money up front, and pay for the higher efficiency power supply, right?
yeah,
And I guess, well, they have at least for cases. You were talking about the 7000D. Is that like a
yeah.
full size
Full size.
case?
Yeah,
There's a step down for like uh mid-size casing. What about that? Instead of a full-size tower,
oh boy.
they're slightly smaller, and but they still fit the ATX standard. They're like a mid ATX case, and they're just
Yeah,
shorter with
there's
a
a 4000. Yeah,
yeah.
4000D. Yeah, I could go for that if budget is tight. Yeah.
I had a roommate once in college. He had an EATX case. I'm like,
Oh
why?
yeah. Yeah, I think this case can fit EATX in here. Yeah.
God dang.
My cooler master half XM I'm using right now, and I have 5 hard drives in here.
So so after MATX, then there's ATX standard, and then do you know about the EATX standard?
No,
It's just
that must be
bigger.
new.
It's just the biggest
Yeah,
motherboard you can have. So it's even bigger than the motherboard you have now. And so they have cases just for that.
I'm pretty sure that would not be necessary.
Yeah, unless you have some kind of server board. For your next case, because appearances matter, would you go with like tempered glass side panel or with specific ventilation like mesh?
I care more about dust filter more than anything.
Oh, okay. In that case, I have the perfect case for you. It has a HEPA filter and yeah, Linus Tech did reviewed a case where the front was just a giant HEPA filter built in, but it requires like these huge fans to push air through.
Yeah, like that's the problem too. So there has to be some balance.
To a certain
Right now I
extent,
have a tempered glass. Yeah, I have tempered glass on one side, and I can see the RGB on my CPU cooler. And then one exhaust fan, 2 fans in the front, and 2 fans in the top, which are normally turned off. I only turn them on when I'm gaming.
ooh.
Yeah, there's an external switch.
So I sent in the podcast chat the MM01 Silverstone case. Got a friggin' HEPA filter.
nice.
It's IP43 spill proof rated. That will probably cost a fuck ton because it's proprietary made. But you can probably like power wash the damn thing and it'll still get the water out.
Nice.
Why is dust such a factor for you, Chu?
So I spend less time dusting it out.
I don't. I recommend you just get an air purifier instead and keep it near your PC.
I don't have space in my room.
Do you not have any air purification in your house?
We have a heat pump that pulls in air, and there's a filter in front of that. And then that heat pump supplies cold and hot air to all the rooms, including mine.
Yeah, but I'm talking if we're talking about like dust filtration, the heat pump doesn't filter dust down to a fine level because it needs to make sure that you're getting the hot air and cold air, right? So that's where you buy like I bought
No,
a
we have a replaceable. We have a replaceable HEPA filter.
oh, it's HEPA rated? Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
HEPA's good because it goes down to the fine particulates, but in general, by your room,
Yeah. There's still like dust created by myself within the room.
yeah, dead skin and hair, and we're basically just polluting our own PC.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, there's like a fine level of dust. Do you know that some cases come with like a fine mesh that can also be
Yeah.
used as a
Mine's
dust
mine
filter?
has a electrostatic mesh.
Okay, how's that work out for you?
Mm, not that good actually.
I don't even bother. I might buy one of those vacuum cleaners with a built-in blower.
Yeah, just bring it
That's something I
outside
used
and
to do. Yeah. Yeah.
to a certain extent, I don't think you'll be able to fully get rid of the dust problem or make it like truly maintenance free unless you go to like these specific heat sinks, passive heat sinks. That's a rare thing where you just we don't need a fan and just let it It's like a Meshify case has a good. Well, the MM01 by Silverstone is an extreme example where uh, it has its own HEPA filter built in. But
Oh, this case looks nice. Probably
PC,
nice price also.
I actually don't
Looking at
know.
MM01, yeah, pretty sure it's expensive.
It is. Even my case, the one I bought, is like it has a fine mesh, but the holes are it just has holes, really small holes, so it blocks the hair and the big dust, but the small dust still gets in. And the problem with dust filters is that when they get clogged up, then your PC doesn't get any air.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I still have to clean it. I clean my PC around like once every month. I don't take
That
the parts apart.
that's like a significant
yeah,
maintenance cycle though. Once a month you take out the
No, I just open up the panel and then I just blow where I can blow. But I don't take anything apart other than that.
what? You blow or it blows?
Yeah, like into the fans,
You don't
into the
vacuum?
heat pumps. No, I just wipe it off with a cloth. Like basically, I dislodge all the dust, and the dust will resettle, right? And then I just
yeah,
wipe it off.
Okay.
yeah,
I guess it's not worth for you to unplug it and bring it to bring it outside and like dust
No,
it there,
definitely not.
and you don't have a vacuum where it has like HEPA where it can trap that. NZXT
yeah,
H510i. Hmm. Oh yeah, there's also the part about balanced airflow. Do you know about that, Chu?
Yeah, so I think currently I have positive airflow, but once if I turn on the additional two fans, then it becomes negative.
Oh, it's a negative airflow. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I
So
try
it's
to.
just the difference between the cubic feet per meter or whatever.
Uh,
CFM
yeah, cubic feet per minute, and
out versus in.
it's just more like where the air is actually coming from and where it's leaving. So yeah, if you have a positive airflow, then you're pushing more into the air into your box than through the filters. And if you have a negative airflow, that means you're exhausting air out through the fans faster than the intake. So it would actually pull air from the cracks in the case, thus you get more dust in theory.
Yes.
And if you have a balanced one, then it's like exactly the same. So that kind of keeps there's a test on it, so I don't know. For me, because my case is so small, I was only put a fan on the bottom of the case and the top of the case because I don't have anything in the front, and the back fan was only like an 80 millimeter one that didn't have any control, so it's
The
technically
one on the bottom,
balanced.
like does it even have access to air? If it's at the bottom.
So in theory, the bottom does have access to air, but there's also the mesh dust filter I talked about. So I had to tinker around with the fan curves to try and make it uh balanced because the top fan doesn't have any resistance because it's just blowing air out, and I took off the dust filter because it doesn't need filtration for that. So the bottom fan actually has to work harder to bring in the fresh air because technically air is cooler on the bottom and rises to the top, and it
yeah,
blows straight into the graphics card, and then that goes up into the top of the case. So for me, that's how I designed the solution to overcome it. But for bigger cases, then you just do like a pull through the front and exit. So normally you pull from the bottom and the front and push through the back and top.
You
That's
also your power supply also has its own independent fan, right?
For me, yes, it needs a fan, and for some cases, they're either like separate outside the case, where it just pulls the air outside the case and pushes out straightly. For mine, it's like in the case, so it has like its own ventilation hole. I don't know, there's so many ways you can build it, honestly.
My power supply has its own built-in fan, but the entire unit is within the case, and
Yeah.
then
So is
it
your
has accessibility to like the vents directly to the vents.
power supply intake fan like on the bottom or the top?
It's on the bottom.
Does that mean it has its own vents from the bottom?
Yes, it does have its own vents.
Okay, so I used to have something like that, and you can actually flip it if you wanted to. So it will pull in air from the inside the case, as opposed to just pulling directly from the ground.
Yes, but
Unless you have like,
then I have an electrostatic mesh on
okay,
that vent,
yeah, that's good.
and like it does capture dust, but not all of the dust.
Yeah, you kind of need that because you don't really clean out the insides of your power supply. That will get dusty.
That's why I rather blow air into it often than to risk it like forming dust bunnies.
Do you store your computer on the floor or table?
It's on the floor,
Yeah, that's probably
but
why.
it's slightly raised. I I put some like dish rack underneath of it, so it raises up a little bit.
So how many centimeters?
mm,
20 centimeters? I mean, like 2 centimeters?
like maybe like 3 centimeters to be honest, 3 to 5 centimeters.
It's okay, yeah.
There was a study that all the dust really accumulates at the bottom, so the higher you put up your PC, the less dust you get. So for me, I used to have mine on the floor as well, close to the floor, and yeah, it get dusty pretty quick. So when I moved it to my top of my dresser, I noticed that I didn't get as much dust as before because you know the floor dust.
Yeah.
Word of advice. So if you don't want to get uh more dust, just raise it up at least 50 centimeters, maybe desk level if you have space, but I don't think you do, right? So,
I don't have space for that.
or you like you put like a shelf on your wall just for your PC case. Some desks actually have these PC holders, so I'll raise it off the floor because
Yeah,
there's so
raise up.
much
Yeah.
so much gunk on the floor. It can get into your fans, and it's like, why do this to your PC? Or the alternative is you pull air from the top and blow it down to the bottom, but I don't know, doing a reverse build.
It's kind of hard, yeah.
Yeah, flip everything over and blow down so all your dust just I don't know, doesn't really work like that because even the dust at the top of the case settles and will eventually be sucked in.
Yeah.
So if you can raise your PC at least a few inches or a few centimeters off the floor, it's probably the best thing you could do than getting a expensive
Well, it's
case.
underneath my table. It's underneath my table, so.
Uh, well, the higher you
But I
rate,
mean, because it's still pulling in air, then it doesn't really matter at that point.
what do you mean pulling in air? Like,
Like I will notice, even though it's underneath the table, that there's there's dust on top of my case.
well, uh, yeah, that's also
I think it's just like the matter of like the whole airflow of my like on the outsides of my case. It just pulls in air from all directions at some point.
Do you have any bottom fans or just the front fans?
Just a front fan.
Okay, well, I guess it's somewhat okay. The bottom front fan will probably get more like foot dust before anything, but
Yeah.
guess that's how it is.
Yeah.
Do you kick your PC once in a while?
Ick.
I mean, I used to kick my PC once in a while because it was just by my feet.
Oh, before when I had a different table, I did, but not now, not anymore.
I think once I kicked my old PC, I kicked it and then it disconnected the or jiggled the power supply for the GPU and then just like disconnected while I was gaming. Yeah, that was really jank. I had the hand-me-down case. Finally got rid of it last year. So would you keep your case or you just get a new case for your next build?
I would keep this case unless I see something better.
I think PC cases have kind of stagnated really, unless you're looking for new features. But we'll see.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. That's like everything for the PC, right? Power supply, power supply are probably new. Actually, that's it. Do you know anything about the new power supply standard?
ATX 3.1, yeah. Is that it? With the connectors with the latest, greatest GPUs, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And
Okay.
ready for the Blackwell 5090 that will eat up 600 watts from the get-go.
Fuck. I don't want to buy a like. I think my current power supply is like 600 watts, but I only use like 200, 300.
Yeah, I just bought an 800 recently, FSP, because my Corsair died.
Oh, really? Okay. Problem with these higher-end
I
power
think I posted
supplies,
it, yeah.
even though you should design your system to run at like 50%, 60%, it doesn't feel good to pull 600 watts or 400 watts just to play games.
I think in my case it's around 300 something actual usage. I have one of those watt meter, yeah, that I can check, yeah.
Yeah, it just it adds up over time for your power bill, but if it doesn't matter to you, then yeah, go whatever.
Fun fact, our electricity is actually one of the most expensive here in our region.
Yikes.
I think we're only second to Japan.
You can compare it to Alexi, because Alexi also pays a premium.
Yeah,
Oh, there's this Cooler Master Silencio S600 case. The best silent PC case. What do you think about sound, Drew? For your as like a do you want a silent PC or do you want to hear your PC?
The quieter
Because
the better.
the quieter the better. Do you like the
Yeah,
fans annoy
they're
you?
fine. My fans are I think they're quiet enough.
Well, the market exists where you can actually go even quieter if you wanted to. In fact, if you did not have a tempered glass panel, oh, this actually looks pretty good. The silent PC case has like all had these padding inside to block the sound and dampen it, and because it's heavy, it's sound dampens it. But it's 94 US dollars. Oh, there's a tempered glass panel. I guess if you choose that, it's interesting. At least for my case, I can choose to have the tempered glass on, or I can flip it so I can just have it with the mesh panel on.
yeah. Oh boy.
How's Sandstorm? That's it.
I'm done playing.
Oh, really?
Almost lunch actually.
Okay, I guess we'll wrap it up
Are you,
soon.
when will you be done playing it? Forever.
I don't know. I just keep playing, yeah.
when he's dead. I don't think Dedsetz will ever be done with Sandstorm unless no one's playing.
Yeah, I got 5,663 hours right now.
Jeez. I should interview you again and ask you what did you learn with your 5,000 over 5,000 hours in Sandstorm?
Absolutely nothing.
I'm sure you picked up something. Fans, last topic, because this case also boasts silent fans. Do you like do your own fan tuning by chance, Drew?
Say again?
Fan tuning. So the
Well,
fans will ramp up and down based on temperature, right?
yeah, I did a little bit of adjustment just so it doesn't like suddenly turn on or suddenly ramp up too much. At least when it's like when I'm not running games, I just try
Mm-hmm.
to keep the fans steady. Okay, so 5,000 hours. If you divide that by 8, that means you've played 625 days nonstop
Nice.
at 8 hours each day. Man.
In the old game, I had 5,677.
Hmm.
Oh man.
If
So for
silence,
both games, yeah,
jeez, that's a good chunk of your life. That's it.
yeah,
So if you count that in chunks of 24 hours, you've spent 208 days on
yeah,
Sand.
That's a couple months.
That's
yeah,
yeah, that's more than half a year.
I mean, I calculated how much I watch anime, and it was like a few years back. It was like 3 months worth of my life dedicated to anime. I'm sure by now it's like more than double than that. But for that to be on a video game, I don't know. Is there a certain limit? I'd say past. I'll probably set a hard limit to like 2,000 hours. But then what do I know? I play like Girls Frontline gotcha game for over 4 years now, so that's on and off. To go back to the silent build, true, if you care about silent stuff, let's see, you get a power supply that can turn the fan off when it's idle. You get
yeah.
a silent. Actually, no. If you truly want silent, you go with all these passive coolers. So no fans at all, and that'll be silent.
No, I'll stick with the fan. Just go for a quieter fan.
Quieter fans.
Yeah,
They have the magnetic bearing fans. Those are nice. Those are really quiet.
Mm.
And let's see. GPU is also one thing you can't really control besides the fans. Um, I used to hear the noise from the GPU itself whenever I coil whine. That's what it's called. So I play a game and I can actually hear the GPU like ramping up and down like the power coil as I'm playing the game.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have that anymore. I used to have it on an older computer.
Well, nowadays it's
Yeah,
gone good, but
sometimes, yeah.
and if you got this case, you'll probably keep that too down to a minimum as well. But it's $93, so I don't know. And for Pete's sake, get a better monitor.
Yeah.
I'll get it eventually. Maybe when I move, I'll get a new monitor.
Or better yet, do what Lexi does and get a gaming TV.
I might just use like two outputs. One to the TV for like watching my Korean dramas, and one for the computer or the monitor when I'm like actually just doing computer work.
So what, you
That's
run like
something
a
good.
20-foot HDMI cable?
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah,
I have that.
but it depends on how my apartment is set up later.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that because I would probably just use a Parsec to just video stream it, my computer
Or
over.
no, the smart TVs nowadays they have like a lot of connectivity, so you don't even. I mean, technically, I don't even need to cable it. If I have a, I believe if I have a Wi-Fi transmitter on my computer, then I could, then the smart TV will be able to pick it up.
What do you think
And
about
Yeah, you can cast it. Yeah.
TVs, huh?
like I'm sure I could cast my screen to the TV in my living room right now if
Yeah.
I had a Wi-Fi transmitter.
Like a Wi-Fi dongle?
Yeah,
My motherboard has built-in Wi-Fi. Yeah. Which I rarely use, but I do use it from time to time.
I mean, if you have Ethernet, then just use Ethernet. That can
Yeah.
work.
the I don't want to drill through the hole. I mean, I don't want to drill a hole for the wall.
Or run a cord through the door.
And the door won't close.
Just don't close the door.
It'll be noisy.
Oh,
Okay. It's been an hour and a half.